Hello everyone, how are you guys? It is Wednesday, not Tuesday, so I'm a day late for my normal stream. I also just realized I forgot to change my menu, so we're gonna just erase that because that is not what's happening today. Styles, welcome in. I hope you're doing well. And yeah, everyone who's here, welcome to the stream. We are going to be making some espresso tonic tonight. So espresso tonic is basically just a very bougie way to drink espresso. You use tonic water and mix in a little espresso and a little citrus. It's very delightful. So we'll be doing that with our flair. And then after that, I will be doing a little sciencey topic. My mic is like not lined up correctly. All right. Hello there, Jace. Jay, welcome in. How are you? Yeah. Oh my gosh. I don't know why, but the last couple days I have been so incredibly tired. So I definitely need my caffeine. The last coffee I had was at like 1 p.m. and I'm so dead. Jay, how are you? Oh my gosh. So I made Milo last night for the first time since I last made it on stream, and I mixed it with some milk. I was trying to practice my latte art, and I was using the Milo as kind of like a dark brown colored base, and it was so good. It was so good with the milk. Like I made this very creamy milk foam. It was delicious. I didn't know. Yeah. Milk makes a huge difference. I have realized this now. But yeah, anyways, I had to move yesterday's stream to today because I was doing, so I don't know what happened, but you know, when you're like in lab or like at work and you just, time gets away from you, that's what happened. So I've been making like a cell line and doing some experiments with it. And we only have like 2 sterile hoods where you can do like cell work. And lately everybody has been doing cell work. So there's always a line. There's always somebody in the hoods. And so I was sitting there like till 2 p.m. waiting to get into the hood. And then like it was like 2:30, I was like, finally it's free. And so then I basically started my experiments for the day, and so I was quite late, as one would imagine. So anyways, that's why yesterday's stream was moved to today. I try not to do that if possible. You're supposed to use milk. It's in the photo. Wait, there's a photo? Oh no, I lost it. What photo? Where is it? Wait, this is just brown chocolatey stuff. Oh, this is the milk. Okay, first of all, I would like to assure you that milk does not look this way. There's no way that milk falls perfectly into chocolate like that. That's impossible. All right. It is really good though. What is a dentist's favorite time of day? I don't know, a cavity. Styles, I don't know. All right, we're gonna turn on our coffee cam light and we're gonna get our espresso stuff up and running. That is too bright. Whoa, hang on a second. I'm gonna blind you guys momentarily. I don't know. Let's turn this light off a little bit. I think it's still pretty bright. Oh yeah, other updates. So I have been going on a quest. Let's go back to the chatting stream. I have been going on a quest for something that I am very excited about. I have been looking for a microscope, and I am hoping that I will soon be able to incorporate microscope streams into the usual agenda. So basically this has entailed me just going on like all the sites. I actually started walking through like old labs and just looking for like microscopes, and I found a few, and they're really cool. They're really dusty and they don't turn on, but I'm pretty sure with a little fixing they can be made alive again. But there's like this whole process that you have to do if you want to take a microscope out of an old lab. Even if nobody's using it, you have to do like some paperwork, and you potentially have to pay money, which is disgusting. We don't like to do that. But yeah, hopefully I'll keep you guys updated on the microscope situation. But I think that would be kind of fun. Caffeinated Linux, welcome in. How are you? Welcome to the stream. I hope you're doing well. Also, thank you so much for sharing your coffee photos. I always love to see other people's coffee setups. It's really fun for me. I was actually thinking about you because today I was making my coffee with my AeroPress. And I was like, oh yeah, Linux has one of those. It looks exactly like that. No, it does not, Jay. It really doesn't. Oh my god, 230. That is very corny, Styles. That is fun. Thanks for sharing. Laughing Underwater, welcome to the stream. How are you tonight? I hope you're well. Thanks for showing up, guys. I appreciate it. I know I kind of always changed my schedule last minute, but I still appreciate you guys being here. So tonight we're going to be making espresso tonics. Or just one singular espresso tonic, because obviously I can't drink so much espresso tonic by myself. So everything's kind of chaotic at the moment, so just bear with me here. We're going to clear the old desk. We're going to be whipping out the flare tonight. This is my hairband. It still has hair on it. This is so gross. Do you guys ever, okay, I don't know if you guys have long hair, but do you ever just have random hairbands lying around and bobby pins? This is a constant problem with me. It's it always either falls out of my hair or it just gets everywhere. But we are going to be making some espresso with the flare, the lever machine. I'm very excited for it. I love treating my AeroPress like a French press, but with a cleanup that doesn't suck. How do you treat it like a French press? So I've never used a French press, but is a French press kind of, it has a little pump on it. I feel like you have to whisk I don't know what you do actually. I've never really gotten into French presses. When I make my AeroPress coffee, I'll have to do it again sometime, but I basically just fill it up all the way to so I put in my grounds with the filter paper, obviously, and then I fill up the water all the way to the top, and then I stir it a little bit, let it sit for about 30 seconds to a minute, and then I just push it through. And that's usually okay. Sometimes I feel like it's very strong, and which is good. It's like a weird hybrid between espresso and coffee sometimes. Yeah, it's interesting. That on. So tonight we are going to be brewing, not Milo. Put this away. We are going to be brewing some lovely beans from Verve, which I mentioned in last stream. These are actually really delicious. I made a nice, delightful Chemex coffee with them this morning. And it's very fruity, and also it actually, when you brew the coffee in the Chemex, it smells like pine wood. It smells like some type of wood. It's very woody and fruity. So I like this. I think it will make a delightful tonic. We are also going to use this small baby mandarin. It's very cute. It's been sitting on my shelf for probably a month, so it's very wrinkled. We're going to use this tonight. And then I also have tonic water. I will not be making professional tonic water like James Hoffman, but I will be using a canned tonic water. I don't know what light tonic water means. I think this has less sugar than normal tonic water, so this might actually be very bitter. Let's see, it has carbonated water. Oh, erythritol. So it has a sugar substitute, which is disappointing. I grabbed the wrong box. That is my bad, but we are going to use it anyways. Hopefully it doesn't taste too much like bubblegum or whatever. It has quinine in it, so it will give us the classic tonic flavor. But basically, we are going to pour our shot into actually my water glass, which needs to be emptied. And we'll be mixing it with a little bit of mandarin and a little bit of tonic. And hopefully it'll be a very light, refreshing espresso drink with a lot of citrusy notes and a lot of bubbles. So if you guys don't like sparkly drinks, you might not be too into the espresso tonic. But hopefully it's pretty easy and you guys can do it at home too if you have an espresso maker. You have those randomly lying around your room? Your hair was 28 inches before surgery? No way, that's so long. Did you braid your hair? How did you style your hair styles? What kind of styles did you do? I struggle with this every day. I will braid my hair when it's wet, and then I will just let it like dry while it's wet, and it comes out like curly. But then it gets really frizzy, and I don't like to use a lot of products because I don't know how to use products, and it always like clumps up the hair and makes it very like nasty feeling. So I don't use a lot of products. It's very just natural. Linux, you have a pressure activated valve attachment for your AeroPress, and you just use the metal filter that comes with the attachment. Wait a second, I think we have a different type of AeroPress. There's a metal filter. You use the same ratio as you would with a French press and same amount of time. And some amount of time. Interesting. Okay, I need to go back and look at that picture because I didn't realize you had a metal filter. My AeroPress is completely plastic. Just make sure that's real fruit and not wax or soap. No. We'll be squeezing each individual orange section because I do not have a juicer. So it'll be Hellbringer. Welcome in. Thank you for making a noise and drowning my voice out. I appreciate you. I hope you're doing well. Felon. Oh, Felon, how is your drive, by the way? Also, so you guys, I put that clip of me clearing my throat on my YouTube. You don't have to follow my YouTube, but if you would like to, you can. It's !YouTube. Anyways, I put it on YouTube, and it actually got a lot of downvotes. It got a lot of views, but a lot of people were like, no, this is not the sound for me. But you know what? They have pansy ears. They have the ears of a small, wimpy snowflake. So I can't help it if they can't handle it. Anyways, moving on to the real reason why we're here, the real reason for the season, which is summer. We're going to start by grinding up our beans. I will be using 18 grams, so we're going to whip out our little tiny cute scale here to measure the beans. We're going to be pouring it into our little tiny dosing cup, which is fun. I've been heating up my, you can't see it, my little brew head and portafilter in the back on my little steamer tray. And yeah. You can't stay past midnight. Oh, it was pretty garbage, but you survived. Wait, the drive was garbage or your whole trip was garbage? What part was garbage? Felon, I appreciate any amount of time you stay. So go get your sleep. That's important. All right. So again, sniffing these beans. Very delightful, kind of sweet, kind of almost musty smell. It kind of smells like prunes a little bit with a little bit of, it kind of reminds me of how Kopi Luwak smells, which is weird. It has that same mustiness. It's very interesting. I like it. All right, we're going to just pour it in because I don't have my spoon right now. So we're doing 18 grams, and then I do 45 grams of water out, and I tend to always stick to those amounts because that gives me good consistent results. You can do 16 grams of beans if you want to save your beans, but then you should use a little bit less water. Off the top of my head, I'm forgetting the ratio. Hang on, I can do math, I swear. Let's see here. It is 1 to 2.5. So one part coffee beans to 2.5 parts of water. That took a moment. Or 2.5 parts of the output or espresso. I don't know the proper terminology, so we're just going to go with that. Okay, so we have our beans. They're very light roasted. It's kind of hard to see because my lighting is so dim, so we're going to just turn it a little bit like this, and you can really see the beautiful colors. You'll notice that they're very matte colored. They're not shiny like a lot of over-roasted, like dark roasts are. I hate dark roasts because they have a lot of cigar flavors and notes that I don't appreciate in my coffee. But a lot of people really like that flavor. And so if you're one of those people, that's okay. And then I currently have this set to about 50 clicks. It's very hard to show you on here because you have to rotate this wheel multiple times. Each click is I think 8 microns. And so it's a very fine setting. So we're just going to go ahead and put our beans in. We drop a few beans because, you know, we're clumsy here. You drove 27 hours in a weekend. Holy crap. Well, it was 13 hours one way. I'm assuming there was traffic. That is a lot of driving. Were you driving across states? That's a significant amount of driving. Was it worth it? That's always the question. Was it worth it? And next time, would you fly instead? Oh, Goldosburn, welcome in. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for that follow. I appreciate you. Also, I noticed, guys, if I miss your follow or something, I'm so sorry. My mini feed is not loading tonight. I don't know why. It seems to be unsynced, which is an issue I have to deal with off stream. So it will not be fixed by the end of tonight. Anyways, Goldosburn, welcome in. One of these days, Calf, you're going to find some nice lab on the East Coast and I will be able to come to your streams again. Oh God, no, I could not. I do not want to go to the East Coast. I'm sorry. I'm very much a Cali girl. You have something called the cheesy bacon. It is a cheese stick bacon wrapped around it and then battered and deep fried and then served with a Thousand Island dressing. Also, you should try it with all the flavors of cheese stick. It's good for parties and large get-togethers. You know what? You are like an angel, Gold. So I have to go to a picnic this weekend, and I was like thinking about what I should make for this picnic. So basically to make your recipe, you take a cheese stick and you wrap it in bacon and then you batter and deep fry it. Isn't a cheese stick already battered? And then you serve it with Thousand Island. Okay, that's interesting. I'm going to be honest. I hate Thousand Island dressing. It's not my favorite. But I like the sound of that. It sounds fun. Sweating. So much exercise. This is why I go to the gym, so I can be strong enough to use my hand mill at home.
Why, hello, my little coffee bean. Welcome to the caffeine club.
What? Gustard, thank you so much for that sub. Aw, welcome to the coffee cult. You're now a ground coffee bean. It's fine. You're welcome in. This is definitely not a cult. All right, so we have successfully ground our beans. Now you might have wondered, why don't I just use one of those little Krups like grinders that has a little blade? Cloven.
I'm making the coffee.
Cloven, I see you. Welcome to the stream. I hope you are well. How is life treating you? I hope everything's good. Are you off for summer or are you doing summer school? Okay, so the reason I don't use a blade grinder is because blade grinders are basically coffee bean murderers. You should, if you use a blade grinder, I'm ashamed of you. No, it's just kidding. I'm just kidding. It's fine. But you should really consider moving up into the world of conical burr grinders, because basically what a blade grinder is doing to your bean is it's just hacking it into these like random pieces. There's no consistent grind size or particle size. You're gonna get sometimes you even get like a whole coffee bean left over because it doesn't get chopped up properly. You get a lot of fines that kind of build up in like the well of the blade grinder, and then you get a bunch of coarse bits, and you dump all of that crap into your like filter or like your, I don't know, whatever kind of coffee making device you have. And it's you're going to get a lot of uneven water flow through, and it's just not going to be ideal. So what I do is I use a conical burr grinder, and the particle size that comes out at the end is very uniform. Not that I've measured it, but you can, if you are a really extra person, you can buy one of those like little sifters that have like a specific micron holes, and you can like dump your grinds through and then look at the uniformity of your particle size based off of whether or not they go through. I don't do that. I trust like the reviews on the internet, which I mean, you know, it would be nice to test it myself. But anyways, here are what my grounds look like. It's a little bit hard to see again because my lighting is atrocious. So let's see. It does look a little clumpy. That is one thing that tends to happen is there's a lot of static. You can kind of mitigate the static by spritzing your beans with a little bit of water. I don't do that because I guess I don't really care, but you can if you want to. So we have our ground beans. I just heated up my portafilter. So we're going to go and put the grounds into our portafilter. Oh, Cloven, you prefer the West Coast? Yeah, West Coast is best coast, man. You drove from Virginia to Indiana and back for your daughter's 18th birthday. Okay, that's totally worth it. Wow, that's so much driving. Oh my goodness. Wow. That's good though. You're such a good dad, Felon. Punishing unfollows. Okay, all right. Just because I say West Coast, best coast, and you're gonna unfollow. I mean, that's pretty shallow, man. That's very shallow. Also, Derek, welcome in. Derek, again, my alerts are not showing up perfectly, so I missed the rest of your name, but welcome to the stream. We are making espresso. I think they mean like just cheese wrapped in bacon. You wrap cheese in bacon. Interesting. Oh, like string cheese. Oh, that sounds so fun. Gold, can you make these like cheese wrapped things, bacon wrapped cheese things? Can you make them in an air fryer? Because I have an air fryer. That would be fun. Maybe I should try it. I could just foresee a gigantic mess happening. Calf, it's me, Gus. Oh my gosh, Gus Cantorell, welcome in. How are you? Welcome to the stream. Thank you for that sub. I appreciate you. Have you ever messed around with sugar glass? One of the things I've done is made these molds where it looks like a paintball. Ooh, but you fill them up with cocktail mixes, so you just pop them in the drink and they're ready to go, or you fill them with alcohol, then use dry ice to freeze them and people can pop them in their mouth. Wait, so let me get this straight. You use the sugar glass, which I have seen used before, and you form it into a ball shape, and then you fill that ball with colored liquid. Oh, that sounds like a fancy ball. I love fancy balls. Do you have like an Instagram that I can follow so I can see your like little fancy glass balls? All right. So what I have just done is I have dumped my grounds into the portafilter. The portafilter is very warm. It has a little piece of rubber so we don't burn ourselves. I am touching the metal because I do like pain. But anyways, we are now going to declump our grinds. I'm using a modified kind of declumper made out of a keycap puller. This is a completely optional step. But again, there are some clumps, and I feel like this does help my espresso come through the grounds a little bit more uniformly. Now, one thing I want to do in the future is do kind of a side-by-side comparison where I do no mixing versus mixing. I've kind of done this very informally in the past, and so it was not a very scientifically carried out experiment. But I would like to do one that's a bit more thorough and maybe post my results on my YouTube channel. Who knows? We'll see. I also have another declumping tool that I made out of these little 3D printing cleaner things. They're very fine needles, and I feel like this just kind of helps finish off the declumping process very nicely. So that's what we're going to do there. You know, this could all just be a bunch of bullshit, but I think it works. So here you go. There's also a lot of videos on YouTube that say it works. So yeah, anyways, takes forever. So now I'm just tapping it. It's very loud. This is just to get the grounds to kind of settle. So you can see the bed of coffee grounds already looks really nice, but we want it to look nicer because we are perfectionists. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take my, where is it? My tamper. Hang on here. The sifters seem like too much work. Right. Yes. I think it was Prometheus who played around with sifters at some point, and I watched his video and I was like, all right, conical burr grinders it is, because he was testing different grinders and whether or not, and their effect on particle size. All right, so we have smoothed off the top of our espresso puck. Now we're going to tamp with the flat side of this little tamper. All right, so when you're tamping, you can apply as much downward force as you wish. However, I think it sort of bottoms out at around 30 pounds of force downward. You can get automatic tampers that do the work for you, but again, those are very expensive little coffee toys, and again, I think it's a little bit unnecessary. So then we put our little thing on top. This is to prevent the water from like causing pits when we pour it on top. That would be bad. And now I'm gonna reheat my brew head a little bit because it's cooled. When you're making espresso, you want everything to be super hot. Like, not super, super hot, but you want your components to be hot, and then you can play around with the water temperature if you want to. To be fair, I made her put on glasses one stream. Wait, what are we talking about? Okay, I hate putting on the glasses on stream. It's very awful. Please don't do it. I realize I need to delete that reading. It's not fun because I haven't cleaned my lenses for forever. So when I put them on, I cannot see anything. It's just smudges. Midwest is the best West. All right, Linux. Wait, where are you from, by the way? Which Midwest state? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and load this in here. I will move my camera so you guys can get a nice undershot of the espresso as it comes out. We're going to empty the water out of this cup. I think, let's see, where do we want to put this? Maybe like, I want it to be level, but this is kind of creating a bump. Maybe I'll just do like, that is so ghetto. Well, maybe we'll just do this. Just tuck it. Guys, this is my very improv, my improv countertop. All right, so we're going to be pooling straight into here. I'm actually going to go ahead and I'm going to be pouring the tonic water and tangerine juice in first. But before we do that, I'm going to put the brew head on and kind of let the water sort of infuse into our grounds a little bit. Cloven, you're chilling. And as for school, spring quarter is a train wreck and summer quarter, hopefully for redemption though. Oh, I'm really sorry to hear that. Well, as all things in life are, it is temporary, and also C's get degrees. Trust me, I have had my share of C's, and now I'm in grad school, so you can get through it. You can. Like having a couple bad quarters, I actually had a whole bad year of school, but I recovered from it in my senior year, and it was fine. It was totally fine. You prefer 31.5 pounds of pressure? All right, Kaheni. Do you have like a little pressure gauge that you use to measure this? What happens if you go up to 31.8 pounds of pressure? Do you start screaming and throwing a panic attack? All right, so we're pouring boiling water in here. My brew head, I have a little temperature strip. You can't really see it. I'll turn it a little bit this way, but I have this cool strip, and it turns different colors when it's either 70, 75, or 80 degrees Celsius. That's about where the temperature is, which is kind of ideal for espresso. What if the automatic tampers become sentient? Would they throw a temper tantrum? Oh, that's a good one, dude. That's a good one. All right, it's time. This is the highlight of the stream. We are going to be milking some tangerines. So for this part of the stream, I'm going to actually move my camera down so you guys can see the tangerine more closely. Oh my gosh, I have so many cords. Hang on. I'm putting up my overlays. We have. All right. I need to fix this eventually. All right. So we're going to get a close up on the orange. This is the most important part. This thing right here. We're going to also make this bigger. All right. So this is my orange, or my tangerine. Her name is Molly. She's been with me for a month now. We've had a very close and intimate connection where I stare at her every morning as I go to work and she says hi. It's very fun. So the first thing you want to do when you are making a citrusy thing is you want to just like peel your orange by ripping its like little head knob off. This is the little head knob. You guys really get to see how dry my fingers are. This is fun. So then what I like to do is I like to just make a spiral. I get very upset if there's any sort of break in my peel. I like to make a perfect spiral all the way around the tangerine. If you don't do this and you make a break, you are a peasant. So anyways, we've gotten to the bottom. This is a very small Molly tangerine. Here we go. You can see it has a lot of fur on it, like all tangerines do. Has a little like donut hole. Actually, this tangerine is an excellent segue into our sciencey talk for later because it has the same sort of protein structure that connexins have, which are a type of kind of gap junction protein that forms between your cells, and it allows different ions to flow between cells through this like pore shaped thing, and it has all of these protein subunits that kind of look like the tangerine segments like this. So this is actually an excellent model, but we're going to rip it open because we don't care about that right now. So here's the inside. It's very juicy. You can see the juice coming out. Bearded, hello Bearded, welcome in. Thank you for the lurk. I appreciate it. Hang on, let me catch up on chat real fast. I'm getting carried away with Molly here. I'll just let you look at her insides real fast. You're currently on the Kansas side of Kansas City. Oh, nice. I have some friends from Kansas. Do you have lots of corn there? Pretty sure my third doctor was a C student. Oh no, wait, that's not good. Actually, so fun story. I know some very intelligent people who are like extremely successful, and they have told me that they were not successful in undergrad. So undergrad doesn't mean too much. I mean, it helps. Trust me, try your best, do your best. But if your grades are not perfect, hopefully you have like some other experience to kind of make up for it, but your grades aren't everything. The podiatrist I saw for my ingrown toenail was an A student with a C- personality. Ooh. Podiatrists are weird. I knew a podiatrist or a student or like some girl who was trying to become a podiatrist, and she had a very vanilla personality. I guess you have to if you're going for the feet, but whatever. Pretty sure you can't get milk from a tangerine. Shush, don't burst my bubbles. True calf, plus I got 2 more quarters until I graduate. You're almost there. All right, so you use a knife on oranges. Well, this is a very delicate thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to just peel off this tiny segment, this little subunit of our Molly tangerine. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to just, we're going to squeeze it into here. So what I like to do is I kind of like to start on one end, and I just kind of start nursing the little orange juice down like this. You can see it's very juicy. There's a lot of splatter happening. Now, obviously, you don't want to waste this beautiful tangerine that has given its life, so you should eat the deflated subunit skin, which is what I'm going to do right now. Oh, man. So good. So we're going to continue doing this until we get a little puddle. Oh, wow. It's like actually milking a cow. Look at that. Look at the squirters. It's so fun. Okay. Now we're gonna just put that in our mouth. I should really get a juicer. Zegron, how's it going? All right, we're gonna just keep going. You guys can see it just, I don't know if anyone here has ever milked a goat before. I milked a goat once, and this is very reminiscent of milking a goat. So you know how on movies and stuff it looks really easy to milk an animal? It is not. It's really not. I can't, so basically you have to kind of, like grasp the udder in such a way that, you know, you're kind of like massaging the milk out. I don't really know how to explain it. I was not good at it. Right now, this is so much easier than milking an actual animal. All right. So I think we're going to just do half of our mandarin or tangerine. I don't really know what this is. And then we're going to pool our shot because our water has been sitting there for quite a while. Grasp it firmly but gently. I mean, here you just squeeze the daylights out. All right. That is enough. Oh my gosh, my fingers are so orange. All right, so this is Molly saying peace. It was nice knowing you, or our little connects and subunits. I think I just disturbed Kaheni, who's regretting their life decisions to become a baby caffeinated. Okay, so we have this. We're gonna put the tonic water in now. Some tonic water ASMR. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. Smells very good. So we're going to start off. I don't like to dilute my espresso too much, so we're going to just do a little bit, just like so. All right. So here it is. Some mandarin juice and tonic water. It's very orange. We're going to taste it. Oh, that is marvelous. That is truly marvelous. Okay. That is so good. It kind of tastes like toilet bowl cleaner, but it's very good. Very sparkly, very delicious. So now I'm going to give you guys a little close-up of our little coffee. Actually, I don't know if this is going to work. Let's see. Should we pool our espresso shot into another cup first? I don't know if this is going to be ideal. There we go. I don't love the aesthetic on this. It's not great. Maybe we'll just do the usual thing, which is, where's my scale? I'm going to use this. Where did I just put my scale? Oh, it's underneath here. Okay. Okay, still a very distracting background. I'm sorry. This should go away. But we are ready to pool our shot. So we are going to be putting our little pressure gauge into the, on the top of this. And I'm going to try to point it so you guys can kind of see it. Actually, I don't know if that's going to be possible because it's going to come down. Yeah, we'll just see. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and pool 45 grams out. And then we are going to put it into our little tonic water mixture and see what happens. All right. So I clearly messed something up in the process. Maybe I let it sit too long, but we had some wow, I can't speak. We had some major squirting action. Some channeling that happened, and as you can see, we got this nice little spray of espresso right out here, which is not ever something you want to see. So that's not great. The good news is there is no good news. We have some type of espresso liquid, which we are going to taste and then dump into our espresso tonic. Wait, this is so good. Okay, this is not that bitter. It's not sour. It's very smooth. Ooh. So there's like a little hint of, hang on, I'm getting some citrus mixed in. Let's just dump it in and see what happens. So we get some bubbles. Okay, check out the bubbling action here. We have a very thick level of foam. As you can see, this is the espresso reacting with the tonic water. So we're gonna give it a taste and see what it's like. So the foam is kind of rapidly dissipating, so we want to drink it quickly. So we are gonna do that right now. Okay, the first smell that I got when I lifted this up to my nose was it smelled kind of like a child's baby diaper after they've pooped, but I'm hoping that's not actually reflective of the taste. Okay. It doesn't taste bad. It's just more, I think this is why an ice cube would have been ideal, but I don't have ice. It's a little bit warm, kind of like drinking warm Sprite in the car and mixing in some espresso. The smell ruins it for me. I don't know why it smells so much like poop. Oh my god. So, this is not what I expected. I'm kind of pissed off right now. We're going to just put more tonic water in. That kind of helps. This is not like what I got from the frickin' cafe the other day. God damn it. There's a lot of lemon. There's definitely a little bit of tangerine. The espresso simply adds kind of a little bit of a bitter undertone, which could also be the tonic water. It also has kind of this weird nutwood flavor that is kind of coming through, which I think is the espresso and not the quinine. I think ice might have been the call here. It's still very like lukewarm in temperature, which is because obviously the espresso is hot, and so mixing with cool liquid is going to make lukewarm. It's interesting. I think this recipe needs a little bit of tweaking, so I will be tweaking it and hopefully making a better espresso tonic in the future. The smell is just so bad. I don't even understand. Hang on, I have to do some massive rework with my wires real fast. Give me 1 second. Oops. Okay, we are back. So that was a very strange experience that I just had. I was trying to make an espresso tonic, and instead, you guys want to see what this looks like up close now? Now that I've let it sit for a little bit, it looks like diarrhea in the toilet, and it smells like it too. I'm very, very pissed off. This, literally, I watched a James Hoffman video before doing this stream, and he literally just put the espresso straight into the tonic water. I don't know what I did wrong. I am so upset. Maybe it's the beans. Maybe it's these Guji Highland beans, which I don't think it is. I think they're good by themselves. I don't think they belong in tonic water. Maybe, oh my god, maybe it's the frickin' like erythritol that's in this disgusting, stupid drink. Next time, I'm not getting light tonic water. Oh my god, maybe it's Molly. Maybe it's that little sad mandarin juice. I think it caused curdling. Maybe it's... it's a lot to unpack here. 31.8 pounds of pressure. I know, that's the problem. Phrasing? What phrasing? I'm so sad. The tonic water in Mandarin tasted so nice by itself, but it doesn't taste good with the espresso in it, unfortunately. Okay, we're turning our bright light off here. Your descriptions are so poetic. Thank you. I try my hardest laughing. I really do. Toilet bowl cleaner and children's diapers. Yes. I've had exposure to those things quite a lot, so I know what I'm talking about. Time to pull out the Diet Coke. That is disgusting. I do not drink Diet Coke. Or vodka. No, we're not going to put vodka in this. I think it'll just make it worse. I think it'll make the curdling worse, which is not what we want. I'm going to do a little cleanup really fast. So, just give me a second while I wipe all the squirts off of my desk from the mandarin juice and the espresso from this cup of nasties. Oh my gosh. I don't know why, but I somehow always manage to invent some disgusting drink accidentally. It's very strange. That seems unnatural. Stop drinking the toilet water? Okay. I mean, I haven't personally drunk actually, I have drunk toilet water by accident. It was in indirect way. So I used to wear a retainer when I was a small child. And what happened was I would store my retainer next to the toilet. Don't ask me why. And one day I opened up my case and my retainer decided to have an adventure and it jumped into the toilet bowl. There was nothing in the toilet bowl, which is great. That's, hang on, let's take a sip. Ugh, the memories. Anyways, it jumped into the toilet bowl. And after it had jumped into the toilet bowl, I was like, oh shit, there goes my really expensive retainer. Oh no. And my 13-year-old brain is like, oh my god, my parents are going to kill me. So... Rev. So I rolled up my sleeve. I don't know why I'm doing this. I rolled up my sleeve and I stuck my little arm into the toilet bowl and I pulled out my retainer and I washed it for about 30 minutes under hot water, and I also used a lot of soap, and I just kept scrubbing it and rinsing it and scrubbing it and rinsing it, and then after what seemed like eternity, I put it back into my mouth, and that's how I know what toilet bowl water tastes like. Ah, so good. Yeah. It has no one ever done this? I have asked. So after I had this experience, I felt so self-conscious about it, right? I felt so tainted. And so I asked like my friends who had retainers, I was like, hey, have you ever like done something stupid with your retainer and it's gone in a place it should not go? And they're like, oh yeah, like the toilet? And I'm like, oh my God. And did you put it back in your mouth? And they're like, yeah. I was like, oh wow, and you're alive? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, oh my, I am too. And ever since then we became best friends. Yes, that was a blonde story, wasn't it? It's official. No one should ever kiss Calf. Her mouth is still stained to this day. Cloven is dying over there. I have never put toilet water in my mouth. That's good. I mean, that's very sanitary of you. I like to think that toilet bowl water is actually pretty clean. Actually, it would be really fun to take a sample of my toilet water and culture it and then see what grows. I think that would be really cool, right? We could see if there's potentially any disgustings in there. I think that would be fun. True. And she'd have the audacity to turn people into princes. Discrimination against frog lords. I don't think it works that way, laughing. Actually, speaking of frog lords, I think it's a great transition to our sciencey topic. You drank from the water hose outside? I think that's arguably worse. I actually have another gross water drinking story that I'd like to share with you all now that we're here. So I was hiking in nature once, and there was a little stream of water, and I was very thirsty, and I was a small child, and I didn't really know that you're not supposed to drink from stream water at that point in my life, but I quickly learned afterwards. And I like drank some water from this like little tiny stream, and I got massive issues in my intestine after that. I was very sick for about 24 hours. And after that, I was fine. I probably had, who knows, maybe I got some Shigella. I don't know. But my stomach was messed up. And I felt like dying. And so I never drank water from a stream again. So, anyways, these clips are going to end up on the wrong side of the internet. No, they aren't. RevDeuce, have you seen the clips that I have put up on the internet? Context does not matter. I'm pretty sure, actually it does matter. I'm sorry, it does matter. I'm pretty sure that that's directly from the Bible. Actually, what kind of word is that? Actually? Wait, what's from the Bible? That you're supposed to drink toilet water? I do not think so. That is okay. In the Bible, there is a story about people drinking water from a rock, which is pretty cool, actually. It's pretty dope water. Apparently, it tasted sweet. Apparently, also, there was really bitter water in the Bible, and when you dumped some special type of branch into it, the water became sweet. So that was cool. Improvise, adapt, overcome. Yep, Jay, that is my motto. Calf seems like the type of person who would get the disease in the apocalypse movie. Not a survivor. Death died first wave. I will be patient zero. It's actually really funny because in my microbiology class, we played this game. Actually, our TAs played this game on us where they it was called Patient Zero. We had to find out who was Patient Zero based off of so basically what we would do is we would close our eyes, and the TA would we had gloves on, and they would smear a specific type of bacteria onto our gloves. And one of those bacteria was Serratia maricens. I can never say it. It's a very bright red bacteria, so it shows up really nicely on a plate when you grow it. So then what you had to do is you would shake everybody's hand, and you would kind of do this to really get some transfer going on. And then after that, you would go shake other people's hands and you had to record whose hand you had shook. And then using that process, you kind of would, like patient 0, whoever it was, would kind of serially dilute the bacteria from their glove by, passing it off to the other person who passed it off to the other person. And then if you kept good records, you could go back and figure out who was the first person who passed the bacteria to you. And I was that person. It was fun. I feel like my TA just hated me. He was very facetious. Because I would like to ask a lot of really weird questions. You love it when Calf gets religious. We were just speaking about rocks and sticks, Jay. We were not getting religious. We were just discussing things. The kissing frog lords to turn them into princes thing. Wait, what? Wait, kissing frog lords to turn them into princes is from the Bible? What are you reading? What are you reading? Laughing? That is not from the Bible. In the Bible, the only kiss that I have ever seen is when Judas kisses Jesus on his cheek as a sign that this is the man that I am betraying. And basically he uses his kiss to indicate to the guards that this is the man you need to arrest. So in the Bible, a kiss is actually a death sign. It's like, this is the person you need to like. So yeah, anyways, not too romantic there. Anyways, fun stories. Calf seems like oh wait, I read that already. Hang on, scrolling down. It was in the chapter with the battle toads. All right, you're trolling me. Fresh water springs seem to come from a rock. Yes, it's a pretty natural thing. I think it was just coincidentally written about in the Bible like that. Thou shalt drink from rocks. Did they smear the super cancer specimen you grew? No, I haven't grown the super cancer specimen yet. We're still in progress with that. Being religiously persecuted. All right. Oh, you're pretty sure Jacob kissed people? I mean, I'm sure people kissed each other in the Bible, but I just didn't read that part because it was inappropriate. All right, guys. So we're still in the food and drink, and I have almost finished my drink that I have made, the poopy espresso tonic of shame, which I am very disappointed with. But we are going to switch gears a little bit, and we are going to start discussing some sciencey things. So for this week's topic, we are going to be discussing nanorobots and Xenobots. Chaotic! Oh my goodness! Welcome in! Let's see if my shoutouts work. Chaotic, how is your stream? Welcome in, peoples of Chaotix. That was not a good welcome. It looks like they might be working. Yes! Alright, what is he making? I love Chaotic streams. They're so good. What is it? What did you do? Show me what you did. I missed it. Chaotic is not wholesome. He's about as wholesome as a bagel. Damn it. I missed the
That was too good. That's so good. We're grown adults. We are.
Did you make a squirt joke? I missed it. I'm so upset now. Okay, hang on. Anyways, guys, please go check out Chaotic. He is a food and drink streamer who makes lots of delicious foods that are themed after video games. And he also plays games. It looks like he was just playing Sun Havan, which I don't know what that is, but I hope it was fun. So go check him out. I will never forget my favorite stream by Chaotic, where he was attempting to make coffee jelly. And he basically mixed the gelatin so he was using a Chemex, I think it was, and he had put the filter into the Chemex, and then he had put the coffee grounds and the hot water into the Chemex, but he had mixed gelatin into the hot water. And as things cool, gelatin tends to like solidify. And so his coffee solidified in the Chemex, and I would just remember like watching 40 minutes of like his tiny little coffee dripping out. It was so much fun. Oh, it was agar. Oh, okay. Well, it still solidifies. I love agar. We use a lot of agar in the lab. It's not food safe, but it is similar to the agar that you can eat. It was such a fun stream. That's my one, like, my key memory when I think of Chaotic is him looking at his Chemex as it just drips and stirring it. And it's just like chunky. Oh man. All right. When you do science, you should test ice machines at fast food places versus toilet water, by the way. I don't think I want to do that. I know that ice machines at restaurants are gross. I have a sister who actually used to work at Starbucks, and she told me that there was mold that grew in their ice machines, and they only ever saw this mold when they got to the bottom of the ice machine. It was very disgusting, and I was appalled that nobody cleaned it. They just like left it there. So, quite gross. Bagels are quite wholesome. They are. Welcome in, Just Great. Sunhaven is a cozy game. Okay. Oh, I'll have to check out your VOD and see how it went. Gelatin. You don't know what's inside of those machines. No, you don't. It's really good. Wait, you redeemed an espresso? Where did you redeem the espresso? Oh, all right, guys. It looks like we're going to be making another espresso drink tonight. So because I done goofed on my first one, so I was making espresso tonics with a little bit of mandarin essence in them, and I got a very shocking result. My espresso tonic ended up tasting not good. It kind of smelled very poopy. I think my chat wants me to stop talking about what my espresso tonic tasted like because it was so gross. So this is the remnants. It's not good. I thought it would be good, but it was not. So we are going to make another espresso shot, and this time we're going to just make it a straight shot. So for those of you who are new here, I have this fun little toy called the Flare. This is actually like the Flare original. They have a Flare Pro, and then they have a Flare 58. These are all different models of this basically manual lever machine that you can use to make espresso. Now, for those of you who are familiar with espresso, you probably think of some classic machine like the Breville or something where, you have all these electric components that heat everything for you. Well, this is not the case here. You have to heat everything yourself. However, the price point for this espresso machine is extremely low. Also, I am not sponsored by Flare, but if you are a representative from Flare, would you like to sponsor me? Thank you. All right. So this thing cost me like $200, and most good espresso machines are range from about close to $1,000 to much more. So it's very expensive hobby to get into, but for $200, as a poor little grad student, I was able to get into this. And then I did buy some extras, yes. So, and also my grinder, I invested a lot of money into my grinder. It cost $180. And I bought the Onesie Presso, which is a JX Pro, which is a hand grinder. It has a special burr grinder at the bottom, so it makes your grinds very fine and also all of the same size, which is really important for espresso. So I will be using that. I apologize for my setup. I kind of I have basically just like this desk, so everything's kind of compacted and squished together. But yeah, I have to go dump out my puck really fast and wash my components, and then I will be right back. And while that's happening, I'm going to heat up my water, and you guys can just hang out. Let me turn my music up. Listen to some nice, what is this? Shaft funk? What is shaft funk? That sounds inappropriate. By the way, I think my stream is slightly less wholesome than Chaotix. Like, if there was a scale of 1 to 10 on wholesomeness, with 10 being most wholesome and 1 being not wholesome, I would say, I don't know. Actually, chat, I'll let you vote. While I'm going to go watch this, put a number in chat for how wholesome you think my stream is. 1 with being not wholesome and 10 with being so wholesome. I'll be right back. Oh, you guys, I didn't deserve that. So Rev Deuce's vote is that this stream is -69. Setup is good apology. Major, welcome, and Major. Thanks for being here. 7.77. Wow, laughing. You really think this is a wholesome stream? I am shook, actually. 666. All right, I think we're just picking fun numbers. Thank you, Chaotic. Thank you. Depends on the stream. You've seen what you do to pawns on RimWorld. Shh. 7. Cloven. Aw. I'm here for the wholesome degenerate vibe. Also 7. I think I'm a solid 7. I'm a solid 7. Thank you. You guys are so sweet. I love that. I was really expecting like zeros or something. All right. So because our espresso maker is a little bit more manual, we have to heat up our components. So it comes with a brew head. This is where it holds the water that we will be using for our coffee or for our espresso. It has a little temperature strip here so that you can kind of keep track of how hot you're heating this up. You want this to be pretty hot. So I always aim, it's kind of hard to see these numbers, but you can kind of see there's like 85 degrees Celsius here. I always aim for 85 degrees Celsius as my peak temperature. So also there's this little like metal base here. This gets pushed down by the plunger that we have here, which fits into this hole like so. And it has to be reset after every shot, which is pretty simple. All you do is you take something like this and you just push into the hole. It's kind of difficult unless I'm standing up. All right, so it's reset. This is how it's supposed to look before you pour water into it. But we're gonna put this on our little steamer and heat it. We then have a portafilter. Now this portafilter is not a standard size portafilter. I think standard portafilters are 58 millimeters. This one's much smaller in diameter. This one is 46 millimeters in diameter. I don't remember. I used to know this, but it's smaller. And so because of that, this kind of creates a lot of challenges if you're making espresso, because you're forcing a lot of water at a high pressure to go through a very small hole or a small kind of like surface area. Versus like the much bigger 58 millimeter, where you get a lot more kind of spread with the water. I don't know what the physics terms are for these things, so you can correct me in chat. I think Caffeinated is most likely the person who would correct me. No one picked 420. Yeah, no. I mean, I don't really talk about weed, even though my one alert is completely me super high. So I'm surprised actually about that. Bagheera, welcome in. Great. And then today we are using these lovely beans from Verve. Now I wanted to kind of do a little deep dive or shallow dive into the background of these beans because they are seasonal and so limited. They're a single origin Ethiopian, I think. Yes, they're from Ethiopia. They're light roasted and they have blackberry, cobbler, pine, and raw sugar notes. These were roasted, so I like to try to buy the freshest beans, and these were roasted May 18th. So pretty good. Not too long ago. So they're very fresh. I'm just going to switch to my share screen and show you a little bit of background on where these beans came from, because I think it's really important to know where the coffee you're drinking is coming from, because I mean, there's actually a lot of environmental challenges with growing coffee, and at least I heard about it. I heard this a lot more a few years ago, where there was potential like drought issues that were reducing the amount of beans that were successfully being grown. And this was, hang on, I'm typing. This was basically limiting the stock of beans that were available and kind of raising prices of coffee in general. Okay, hang on. I have such a one-track mind sometimes. Okay, now let me see if I can share this with you, hopefully. Where is it? No! There we go. All right, can you guys see my screen? All right, so I got this coffee. It's called the Guji Highlands by Verve. So if you buy it online, it's $21, but I actually bought mine for $12 because it was on sale at my favorite store ever, Whole Foods. And so it was a real steal. Actually, hang on, is this the 12 ounce? I think that, yeah, the 12 ounce is $21. So let's see, they have a couple of their own recommendations that you can look at. For their espresso recommendations, they say that you should do a fine grind size, which is what we are doing, and that you should pull your shot for 22 to 26 seconds. Now, I actually like to pull my shots for about double that time, although it has been coming out at about 26 seconds, so pretty fast. You can also do this with French press, blah, 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 blah. So here's a little backstory.
Hello, my little coffee
Ooh,
welcome to
blessing! It's almost 2 years. Oh my goodness. Blessing. You've been ground 23 times. Oh my gosh. So much effort for a cup of coffee. Is that how the East Coasters say it? Coffee. Where's the best Kopi Luwak from? What are you trying to say, Rev? Are you trying to say where the best Kopi Luwak is from? Which is spelled completely differently, by the way. If you're going to come into my chat and say Kopi Luwak, please try to do your best to spell it correctly. That is the proper spelling. Kopi Luwak comes from the Philippines. I think it also... Coffee.
I'm making the coffee.
Cloven.
You want coffee?
I want some freaking coffee. All right, so a little backstory here. I'm just going to zoom in. So this is from Ethiopia. It's natural processed, so this means that the beans are just left out in the sun with the berries still on them. Jay, the elevation. So I actually have not paid as much as attention to elevation, but basically this kind of determines, it does impact the flavor of the beans. I don't know if I would notice any difference though. Again, I haven't spent too much time on that. So basically this coffee comes from the Guji region of Ethiopia, which is situated between Sidamo and Yirgacheffe, two very common and recognized coffee producing regions. The name Guji comes from the Oromo people who have roots tied to coffee farming. As traceability efforts expand in the specialty coffee realm, so too does the recognition of Guji as a distinct coffee region. Formerly, Guji was thought of as being part of its neighboring regions at different times. Ample rainfall, steep mountainous terrain, and high elevation combine to create the unique profiles we see coming from this area. The farm where we received this coffee was founded in 2012. It's located on 250 hectares or 617 acres, which is massive. The farm reaches up to 2,300 meters. We generally consider farms with elevations above 2,000 meters to be impressive given what we know about the agronomics behind coffee cultivation. So that, I don't quite know what that means. I'm guessing maybe it has to do with the kind of minerality and nutrients in the soil at higher elevations. Anywho, the farm is nestled in and surrounded by a rainforest where organic farming is practiced, and these farmers also help neighboring small holding producers by purchasing their harvest while offering the mill for processing their own coffees. With farm elevations reaching 2,300 meters and the complex and balanced flavors in our cup, our curiosity to try coffees from Guji grows. Aw, how romantic. Anyways, there was another picture of this. I love Verve's coffees. I don't drink them often because they are so expensive, but when I do, it's so good. Here's a fun little picture of some type of jungle. Okay. These are just stock photos. I don't know why I'm showing you this. Let's get back to making coffee, shall we? All right. So, my components have heated, so we are going to go about grinding up our next shot of espresso. Like grapes for wine, the altitude and soil matters greatly. Yeah, so actually the coffees grown in Hawaii have a distinct profile because they're grown in very volcanic soil. And that, honestly, I don't know exactly what it does to the flavors. I would have to sip a Hawaiian coffee next to my Ethiopian coffee to remember what the differences are, because I'm not a coffee taster professionally. My taste is very mediocre. As you guys know, considering the adjectives that I use to describe my espresso, you know my tasting level is pretty much in the toilet. Where's my little thingy-majig? Tonic water by itself is so good. It really is like toilet cleanser, though. So we're heating up the brew head, and now we are measuring. So we have measured out our beans, so we're going to start grinding them up again. This is... Oops, I think I kind of moved it. So there's this little, like, thing in here that shouldn't be moved. If you turn this rim, it actually changes the grind size very slightly, so I try not to move that. I don't know why they have that in there. All right, and then we're just going to grind this for about a minute to a very fine grind size. On a 1Z-Presso JX Pro, I've set this to 51 clicks from base. So I'm going to just give you some nice coffee grinding ASMR. Okay, so it's actually an intense workout to hold your arms up at that level and grind that, like with something. I'm actually feeling, I don't know, what is this muscle called? I'm feeling burning happening. All right, so we have ground our beans very finely. Our portafilter is a little bit steamy and moist. You should always dry your portafilter before putting in dry coffee grounds, because if you don't, your coffee grounds will clump. And you might get squirters, which we sometimes get because the water just shoots through portions of the grounds that are less tightly compacted than other areas. It's my bicep. Ah, thank you. I should know what that is, to be honest. I went to the gym. So I started going to the gym 2 weeks ago, and then I took a break because I was not feeling well. I got sick last week. And then I went back again today after about a week of 10 days hiatus from the gym. And I didn't do that much. If I'm going to be perfectly honest, I went on the stair climber first. So the gym I go to, it's full of really muscly dudes, and I always get really intimidated. And so I walked away from the squat racks and I went to the stair climber, and I went on the stair climber for 10 minutes. And then after that, I decided that it was time to work my arms out. So then I went to the rowing machine, not the rowing machine, but like the weighted rows. And so I was trying to work on my upper back. And then after that, I went to like the lat pull down machine, and I was working on my lats, which I think are some muscles in the back. And then after that, I was like, all right, it's time to do something else. And so then I went and did like a tricep pushing down machine. It's like where you do this and you push down. It's for your triceps, I think. And so I did that. And then after that, I was like, now I should do my abdomen. So then I went to like one of those things where you kind of hold yourself up and you lift your legs. And I did that a little bit. And then I was like, all right, it's time to go because I'm going to be late for work. And then I left. And that was that. It's very, very mediocre. All right, so what I'm doing right now is I am declumping my coffee. You can still see there's clumps. So then I go and I take my secondary declumping tool and I go over it again. And this is just to, again, try to break up any clumps that have formed due to static so that when we put our water through at a high pressure, it goes through the coffee evenly and there's no patches of more densely compacted coffee versus areas where the coffee is not too densely compacted, and those areas will give way to the water easier and create those little squirters that we see coming from our espresso, which is not fun. Although I have to say having squirters hasn't negatively impacted the flavor with these beans, which is surprising. Sometimes it can have a really negative impact, and what I mean by that is it can be very sour, but it actually makes this Guji Highland coffee taste good when it's a little bit poorly extracted. I don't know. It's pretty amazing. So then after I've done this, I tamp it a little bit, or I tap it. And now we get our grounds to settle. You can see they're very beautiful, tasty. Di, welcome in, Di. How are you? Welcome to the stream. Is it Gold's Gym? No, it's not Gold's Gym. I've heard of Gold's Gym. Isn't that like a very bruh place? I think I've been to one before, and like all of the weightlifting equipment is really old, and you just get like these really muscly dudes that leave their sweat like all over the machines and stuff, and then it's like kind of gross. I always wipe off people's sweat. It's so nasty. All right. We have our nicely smoothed coffee bed. And now we're going to go ahead and we're going to take our tamper. So this is this is a fun little coffee toy. I don't remember where it came from. It came from Crema. The brand name is very lightly etched in here. You can't really see it. This was about $45, and it has a tamper on one side that has an adjustable depth thing. So if you unscrew this here, you can it's a little jammed. Actually, it's very jammed. Technically, I'm able to there we go. I'm able to adjust the height of the tamper, and this is important depending on, let's say I use much fewer grounds than I normally would, then I would need to adjust this deeper because there would be fewer grounds in the portafilter. So I've adjusted it already to an optimal sort of height. So we're going to tighten that back up. And then on the other side here, we have this weird little propeller shaped thing. And this is just to level the grounds of coffee in your portafilter. And now this, I will be honest, I don't think it has a huge impact on the final product. But if you guys watch those like viral coffee TikTok videos where they have like a clear portafilter thing and they show how this little leveler makes the coffee, like the uneven coffee, all nice and smooth and neat, that's theoretically what it's doing. But I don't know. All right, we have just tamped. I left an imprint in my mat. I probably shouldn't have tamped on that. It's good enough, though. It's good enough. Di, you've been doing well? Anything new in life? Any coffees that you have been drinking? Something like that. Oh, okay. For real. I always wipe my machine before and after. People are disgusting. Oh, thank goodness that you do that, because it is always uncomfortable when some dude, like, or some chick, sometimes it's a chick, I'm not gonna hate on dudes right now, someone gets up and they leave like this sweaty imprint of their butt on like the machine, and then you have to like wipe it off. It's so disgusting. I don't know why people do that. I'm very self-conscious about my butt sweat. All right, so we are now going to pull the shot. So I've put my portafilter in this like little holder of the flare. And what we're going to do, I think this time I'm just going to put it here. I know last time I like moved everything over, but we're not going to do that this time. We're going to just set up our scale on the bottom. Now I loaded in 18 grams of coffee grounds here, and I'm going to pull 45 grams out. So that's 1 part coffee grounds to 2.5 parts of water or output that we're looking at here. So we're just going to put our scale there. We have our little thermal insulated espresso cup. I love these cups. I haven't broken them yet. And we're gonna just put that here. We're gonna tare it so it's zeroed so we can weigh properly. Now my scale also comes with a timer, so I can time how long it takes to pull my shot. And back when I was optimizing the perfect espresso making recipe for this flare, I actually kept an Excel sheet with all of the different grind sizes and the length of time that it took to pull the shot, as well as how much water I was using, what temperature the water was, what kinds of beans I was using, what the roast level was, and other things like whether or not I tamped, whether or not I declumped. It was a lot. I don't use the Excel sheet anymore because, let's be honest, I'm not going to do that at like 7 a.m. in the morning every single day. But if anyone is interested in seeing my data, I can send you my Excel sheet full of espresso notes. But anywho, we have now heated up our brew head, so we're going to pop it on and add some hot water and pull our shot. Now, a fun little hack, if you have a flare and you struggle with heating up your brew head to like a really hot temperature, because normally what you do is you use this little rubber thing to put on the bottom here, and then you just pour hot water in, and you do that repeatedly like 3 times. It's very annoying. What I did was I took a kitchen strainer, 85 degrees, it's very hot. I took a kitchen strainer and I put it on the top of a kettle, and it just kind of allows the steam to come through. Let's see if I can move this. There we go. Yeah, you can kind of see the setup. So this is the kitchen strainer. And it acts like a little steamer. And as you all know, steam is hotter than water, so you can get your components really freaking hot. All right, so now we're going to just top this off with some boiling water. I did put my screen, right? I think I did. Sometimes I get distracted when I'm streaming. So there's a little metal screen that you're supposed to put on top of your coffee grounds to protect them from the water that you're pouring on, so it doesn't like create a crater into that beautiful thing. So it looks like I don't see grounds floating in my water, so I think we put the strainer on. Where is the point redemption for the coffee puck to be pure cinnamon? Oh, laughing. Actually, that's something that I want to do. I have cinnamon and I keep forgetting to do it, but if I mix cinnamon into my grounds, it might be interesting. I know a lot of espresso snobs stick their nose up at such a concept, but I have done it before. And it gives like a nice little like spice to your coffee. It's lovely, honestly. Never been to the gym yourself? You get all your exercise out in the country. That's the best way. So when I was a kid, I used to help my dad do a lot of like yard work for people. And he always told me that was the best way to do exercise because you're getting paid for it. And it's free technically, but I did not like it. All right. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to pre-infuse our coffee a little bit. So the pre-infusion is just where I lightly apply pressure just so that the water starts to kind of percolate, not really percolate, but like flow through the espresso in the puck. And this is just to kind of let some of the flavors start to come out of the coffee a little bit. And I have noticed that if I pre-infuse for a longer time, like maybe 20 seconds, it sometimes makes the coffee taste good. Now you have to test this on different beans because it has a different effect on every bean. I don't really test it anymore. I just kind of do a standard pre-infusion of 15 to 20 seconds for each coffee and it tastes fine. But you can test that and see how it changes the flavor of your espresso. Steam is hotter than water. Fascinating. It is fascinating. Oh, I forgot to, you know what? I'm not going to move my camera because it's such a freaking hassle right now. So you guys are just going to have to watch from afar. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and start my timer. Disgusting, dude. I can't believe it. Jay, you fucking crack me up. All right, so we pulled our coffee shot. It took us 40 seconds, which is, again, longer than what the recommended length of pool time was on the website, which was 26 seconds. But foo-foo, we don't care about that. So we're going to just catch the drips. And let's take a look at this. So we have a lovely little layer of crema, which is all of like little fats and oils that are extracted from the coffee grounds. And what we're going to do now is we're going to stir it. Give me 1 second while I go get my little spoon. I'll be right back. And then we will taste our espresso. I also like to let my espresso cool. I know there's a lot of kind of myths about, oh, your shot spoils if you let it sit for a couple minutes. To be honest, James Hoffman tested this. And actually, the optimal sitting temperature for espresso is, I think, about 2 to 3 minutes. So it doesn't spoil. It gets better. It ages into perfection. So I'll be right back. Okay, we are back. We have our espresso spoon. Now, this is, for those of you who have been on the channel for a while, you know my espresso spoon is Dorothy. However, this is Dorothy's younger sister, Clarice. I love naming my mini spoons because they're so cute and adorable. So why do we stir espresso? Because as the espresso is coming out, there are different stages of the kind of coffee brew as it's coming out. So you get kind of like the let's see, I actually forgot the layers. We can look it up later, but crema is the obvious one that kind of comes at the end, but there's going to be kind of the more kind of like lower brewed, oh god, I cannot think of this, under extracted. There's going to be more under extracted coffee in the beginning because that's the first little bits of water that are coming through the puck, and then as it goes along you're going to start getting more like solubles picked up in the water, and so it kind of comes out in like multiple layers, and there is like a whole schematic with the names of these layers and what's in them, and I completely forgot it, but we use the spoon to kind of homogenize this very heterogeneous mix. So when you go to a fancy coffee place or just a coffee place that knows what the heck they're doing and you order an espresso, they'll serve it on a little plate with a spoon and also some sparkling water to cleanse your palate. Obviously, using tonic water is not going to cleanse your palate, so don't do that. But we're going to just stir gently. Diplomat, welcome in. Welcome to the stream. Sorry it took me a second to look back at chat there, but I hope you're doing well. You've never heard of a teaspoon called a mini spoon? It's mini spoon styles. Don't burst my bubble. Rex, welcome in, Rexy. I hope you are well. Welcome to the stream. All right, I've been mixing this far too long. All right. Ooh, yummy. Wait, is this Russian? Blessing, do you know Russian? What is being said in Russian? I'm sorry. I don't know if it's Russian or some other language. All right, we're going to take a sip. Now, when you're sipping your espresso, you should always aerate it. This allows you to kind of open up the flavors by letting in some air to kind of, do some things. I don't know. We're going to aerate. Ooh. So right away, I'm getting kind of a buttery texture. There is a little hint of bitterness, kind of like grapefruit, kind of like tonic water bitterness, actually. Maybe it's because tonic water was the last thing I tasted. But I'm getting like a buttery tonic flavor. There's a little bit of citrus. There's still kind of a woody flavor going on. Overall, this is a very delightful, very easy to drink coffee. So if you just joined, the coffee we're drinking is from Verve, and it's called the Guji Highlands, single origin Ethiopian. It's a light roast, which honestly, I normally am afraid of light roasts a little bit because they tend to be very acidic. But this is very good. It's not too acidic. He said, is it better to pour hot water over the grinds? Oh, it's Russian. He said, if it's better to pour hot water over the grinds. Oh. Well, it depends on which context. If you're just putting the grinds in, like, I don't know, say a pour over, for example, and you pour really hot boiling water onto the grinds, you're going to over extract your coffee. Now, it depends also a little bit on the roast level. If you have a light roast coffee, it's better to actually use hotter water that's closer to boiling. But if you use a dark roast, you actually want to drop your temperature of your water down to maybe like 85 degrees Celsius. Heroes, welcome in, Heroes. Thank you so much for that. Thank you for the drive-by. How is your stream? Hang on, let me go back to my my shout out page. How is your stream, Heroes? Welcome in, Rydia. Let me think. How do I type your name? There we go. Let's see what pops up. What kind of toxic league is gonna come out today? This is League? Is this LOLs? I don't know. God, dude, I never know what's happening in your clips. Like, something happens and you're like, oh, and I'm like, I don't know. I saw some pixels move. A pixel tripped over another pixel. I don't know what's happening. By the way, are you keeping up with the big like league thing? There's like some sort of issue with people who play league professionally, and there's some sort of weird competition or something, and like people are upset about it. I don't know. I heard this on the news. Maybe you know more about it than me. All right, moving on. Also, Heroes, when are you coming up to the NorCal region? I think that's coming up, right? It was good. You won a couple. You lost the last one. Oh, that's okay. At least you won. You were playing League of Legends. Yummy or bust. What? What was that in reference to? I think I missed something. Styles, you're Lithuanian. Oh, okay. Oh, it's not easier to boil. We're discussing whether or not it's easier to just boil water and pour it over grounds versus using my wonderful contraption here. I've made 2 espresso shots tonight. I'm very caffeinated. Yes, I have to wake up at 6:30 a.m. and go to a disgusting lab meeting. Just kidding. It's fun. I love lab meetings. They're just so fun. They're at like 9 a.m. and I honestly feel like sleeping through them. But anyways... don't pay attention to it. Mid-season invitational. Yes, Rydia, that thing. There's a league. Yeah, there's some kind of league for like those big league people out there in the world. Yumi? It's the best champion in league. Yummy. Oh, yeah, I don't know. Wait, no! The wedding's canceled? No! The tea! Your best friend found out her fiance was cheating on her? Bruh! Your friend got ramened, dude. Oh my god. I'm so sorry for, your best friend. Dude, what the frick? That is like something you read about on Reddit. Holy crap. I am so sorry. You wanted to end his breathing. Oh man. I mean, cheating is just terrible. And right before the wedding. Oh my god. Oh. Well, time to make some special coffee. Just kidding. Diplomat, you make Turkish coffee. Wait, that's amazing. Do you how do you like to make your Turkish coffee? I have tried making Turkish coffee once, but I had some issues because I couldn't grind the grounds fine enough. For Turkish coffee, you have to have extremely finely ground coffee, and it was rather hard to achieve with my grinder at the time. But I do enjoy some Turkish coffee. It's very rich. Let's see. Really enjoyed all the caffeine, I guess. Toilet water talk. Caffeinated. You're probably like, who is this coffee snob talking about toilet water? Thank you for being here. Good night, and have a wonderful rest of your evening. He left his iPad out. Hang on, we can allow this. I don't know what's wrong with nudes. It's basically like a shortcut for noodles. He left his iPad out and she went to turn off the lights because they have hue lights, and there were nudes of this other girl on there. No. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's so awful, dude. Well, I guess I'll never meet Heroes now. Damn it. Well, Heroes, have a good night. Thanks for that raid. I appreciate you. Also, good night, Rydia. You're still gonna come to NorCal one day, and we'll get some ramen. Oh man. Okay, so overall, this espresso shot was a ultimate success, which is great. Diplo, you can speak all the languages of the world that are in the translator. Oh, those are magical powers. Magical powers. I too can speak all languages that are located in a translator. We're getting a ramen. Yes, and streaming it. Oh my gosh. I don't like people watching me eat ramen though, because when I slurp noodles, they just like get all over my face. It's really awkward. The Italian translator tries, don't use it when speaking to an Italian. I tried using, so when I was in South Korea, I was trying to use a translator to speak in Korean, and it wasn't working very well because people thought they would just look at me confused, and I was like, oh, am I not saying what I think I'm saying? Oh well. Okay, so I think because we spent a lot of time making coffee tonight, I think we're going to just very briefly, we're not going to really go into the sciencey part of the stream that I was planning to, but I will give you a little preview of some cool videos because I'm going to have to pop off in like maybe 20 minutes or so. But I want to give you some previews of what we will discuss next stream, because I did all of this reading in preparation of stream like a good little student, and I'm just so peeved. No, just kidding. I had so much fun making coffee. I could do it all day, every day. So I'm just going to show you guys some fun videos of these things called Xenobots, which are basically these clumps of cells that spontaneously move about and perform tasks. And they were recently developed in 2020, 2021. And they're really cool. And there's a cool video that I'm going to show you. And I'm not going to get too much into like Xenobots and also Nanobots, which is actually something that Styles Este had brought up. So actually, for those of you who don't know, if you're in my Discord, there is a sciencey channel, and I put an Excel sheet there where you can put in the comments section like different questions or topics that you would like me to discuss on stream that are kind of broadly related to cell biology, immunology, and that kind of thing, and cancer. And there was this topic that was brought up by Styles about using nanobots in medicine. So first of all, nanobots, are actually mostly hypothetical still, because it's very difficult to make such small things. So a lot of the stuff that is out there written about nanobots is how people would like to use them, not actually having done any of these things. But there are a few cool studies where people have made and kind of like modified different bacteria and things to work like nanobots in the body to like detoxify the blood, for example, or target cancer. And that's really cool, but it hasn't gone into humans yet. So we're still very far off from nanobots being used in humans anyways. 10 gifted subs to the first person who clips calf making slurp noises and spraying ramen juice all over her face. It's only if I start laughing in the middle of it. I'm not gonna spray my ramen. It's not ramen juice, it's ramen broth, all right? Ramen juice sounds really gross. Ramen is good. Don't have many places where I here in the Midwest. Well, Rydia, okay. I actually have some ramen under my desk right now, and it's the best ramen. And I think you can find it on the internet. Don't ask me why I have ramen under my desk. I like to eat ramen sometimes. This ramen is so good. So it's a Korean ramen, I think. It's called gomtang, and it has like this delicious beef bone broth, and it's a powder though, but it tastes freaking delicious. Okay. Obviously, it's not the same as real ramen, though. But if you are looking for an instant ramen that's yummy, this is really yummy. Anyways. The example of translator, Ciao Bella Ragazza. See, this is why I don't go to Italy. Buongiorno, mio amica bella, como stai ella? What are these words? You really can't use Google to help you speak the Italians. Yeah, no, bruh. I cannot speak. Let's turn our really bright light off. We're not making coffee anymore. 100 years from now, we inject 100 million microscopic terminators to Gatling gun cancer cells. Maybe. I think one of the big issues that would come with using nanobots is figuring out how to make them invisible to our immune response, because even with some of the little nanobots that have been used in animals, there is an issue where, for example, they actually use DNA. They fold up the DNA in these little structures, these little like origami structures, and then they put them into, and they use them to kind of like deliver things to cancer cells. For example, let's just go to my share screen. That is not really what I wanted to show you. Can I show? Maybe it's on this page. Where is it? The DNA that folds. So your immune system can recognize, it has sensors that recognize DNA floating around in the body, because usually DNA should not be floating around in your body. That means that maybe there's like a bacteria or a virus attacking. And so your body has these mechanisms in place to kind of alert the rest of the immune system to go and start making inflammation, and like your body has this really strong response. Hang on. This is the wrong screen. Where's my screen? No. This. Okay. So let's see here. There was a really cool video. I don't know if they showed it here. This guy was very, very boring. Basically what they do is they came up with these ways to fold DNA into these different structures. And they call it DNA origami. And then they can use that to kind of carry a certain payload to a cancer cell. And there was a really cool video that I found where they show how this works. Is it this? It's not this one. Maybe it's this one? No. Maybe it's this one? Nope, it's not this one. Hey, where is this video? Was it spirulina? That was not. No. Okay, well, basically, they can do this with DNA too, but here, this is a video about using bacteria to carry, like, specific things through the body, because spirulina are these types of algae that can, they can kind of spiral around and swim. And so in this video, they had magnetized them, and they were using, I think, like some sort of, were they using MRI or something to kind of direct the spirulina to the sites of cancer and stuff. Let me see if this plays. Let's turn off the other music because that's a little distracting. Oh, Cloven, you know Gomtong? Suddenly ramen. Yes, Roke Scott. What can be said about such a variety of coffee as Arabica? What variety do you prefer? Oh, what is your top 3? Oh, hang on. Deeplo, I'm sorry. I just saw this question. So, my top 3 coffees. Let's go to a screen. So if we're going to compare Arabica and Robusta, I prefer Arabica. Just because Robusta is a little bit more, I don't want to say it's like a little bit more meh. A lot of Starbucks coffee is Robusta. But my favorite coffees, so these aren't necessarily varietals, but they are like brands and roasteries. I like Counterculture coffee. And they get a lot of their coffee from, I forget where they source all of it. A lot of it is South American coffee. But I also really love Ethiopian coffee as well. This is not what I wanted. Let's look at their coffee. But they have, so one of my favorites is Hologram. And Hologram, again, like the prices on their website are very expensive. You can actually buy them for much cheaper at your local grocery store. But Hologram, I think this comes from, where does it come from? Damn, they usually put the location. Okay, here we go. So they put the blend. So they have a kind of a rotating blend. So the one for May is sourced from Colombia and from Ethiopia. So they actually mix both South American and African coffees. I also really like coffee, like Kona coffee. However, I don't like dark roasted Kona coffee. I like very light roasted coffees. But yeah, that's just briefly the type of coffee I like. You'd at least get one free drink at the pub. What? Oh, they'd feel so bad for me. They're like, oh man, you're struggling there. Don't hurt yourself. Here's a drink. Shut up, please. Wait till we get the chips in our brain, then we'll be able to translate on the fly. Oh man. Neuralink, right? I don't know when that's gonna happen. Blends are nice. They say that the most invigorating coffee is the one that grows next to cocoa bushes. Interesting. I've not heard of this, Deeplo. But it is true that cocoa plants and coffee prefer the same tropical environment. Okay. Before I get too distracted, I'm gonna show you one little tiny video, and then I swear that's it. So the video I want to show you is actually not about spirulina, but I want to show you this one about Xenobots because they're arguably cooler. I think this was the video. Is this the video? Let's see. No, this is the boring guy. Where is it? Give me a second. I have like 20 tabs open. I have to look through all my tabs. Wait, is it this video? Well, actually, either way, these videos are cool, so I'll just show you both of them. Is this? Oops. No. There we go. Oops. This video is kind of meh. Let's go to this video. Okay. So basically what Xenobots are, they're cells that are taken from frog embryos. So basically they literally took embryos from these frogs that are commonly used in the lab called Xenopus blah 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 blah. I can never pronounce them. Hang on. Let's find the frog name. I think it's here. Is it Xenopus? I clearly cannot spell it either. All right, well, anyways, it's from a frog. I put the article into my Discord so you guys can look at it there, but they take these frog embryo cells and then they put them in a dish and they actually like kind of clump them together so that they grow into this little shape. And then they put them into a petri dish with other cells, and these big clumps will start to gather up the other little cells and build another copy of themselves, or basically a small spheroid. So I'll just show you this. Oops. No, not ads. Now you guys know that I'm a peasant. All right. Okay, so some quick oopsies. Did I just completely go to the wrong screen? Okay, there we go. So just some quick context into what he's talking about. So basically, scientists want to create like these little biological robots. These are not nanobots because they're not on the nanoscale, but they want to create them to kind of be able to self-replicate in the body to perform various tasks, such as maybe like targeting cancer or like going after and like targeting cancer cells in some way. With this specific study, I actually don't know how you would apply that to killing cancer, because basically all that their little Xenobots do is like go in circles and collect other cells. But you could imagine that if you maybe label the cells with something, or maybe magnetize them, you can then like kind of direct them to like a tumor, and then you could also maybe have them carry some type of like chemo agent, so that instead of dispersing chemo into the whole body, which causes a lot of toxicity, you could target it to like a very specific place in the body. This video is kind of lengthy, and there's actually another video that I realized I was watching on my phone, but I actually posted the link in my Discord so you guys can watch it, where they have more cool footage of Xenobots and things like that. So if you're interested, go check that out. I was going to get more into this, but I also need to start wrapping up the stream. So this is just a little teaser. We can always talk about this more at another time. But I see that there's some questions in chat, so let me address that first. Self-replicating robots, what could go wrong? No, I know. So actually, there is a way to genetically modify cells to have a kill switch. So what this means is you can maybe have like a inducible, like basically something that will turn a gene on that tells a cell to kill itself, and it's controlled by whether or not you put a chemical into the body, and that chemical binds to like a receptor that then turns on this gene that tells the cell to kill itself. So there's ways where people can put kill switches into these cells, and then if they start replicating out of control, you can inject like this drug or whatever, and it will bind to that cell specifically, but you would have to make sure that it binds specifically to your Xenobot cells and not to human like normal cells, because then obviously you would have a lot of cell death. But there are ways that you can turn off cells once they've been put into the body. Dude, yeah, Harvard guy, I know. My question on nanobots is what happens when they malfunction and create nanosickness? One of my several questions about them anyways. So again, nanobots in and of themselves are still very theoretical. And so any nanobots that have been created, which are very few, so again, using spirulina, or there's also just nanobots that are made out of DNA. They use these in animals, and I didn't really see anything about nanosickness, and I think it depends on what your definition of nanosickness is. Yeah, thanks, Jay. Yeah, I think, are you referring to nanosickness that is kind of in like more of the, I don't know, fictional realm, or like, yeah. Let's see. Because basically in all the articles I read, I did not see any indication, again, because most people haven't really actually implemented nanobots in humans. There isn't really any evidence of any kind of sickness coming from them. The only thing, I guess you could define nanosickness as your immune response to the nanobots, and this would come off like the symptoms of that kind of your immune response to nanobots would be like fevers and like inflammation and stuff like that. Nanosickness sounds sci-fi. More of how it would apply with the immune system. If nanobots damage cells from malfunctions, how would the immune system respond to that? Nano sickness like a computer virus. I see. So it is very much immune system related. Yeah. So that would be very bad. So there are in a couple studies where they used DNA nanobots, they saw that your T and B cells your B cells started creating antibodies against these little nanobots, against like fragments of the DNA, for example. Now, if this is controlled, if this inflammation and immune response is controlled, it can be, it might be okay. However, what will happen is if there are antibodies that are being made against your DNA, this is going to actually cause the little like DNA nanobots to be engulfed by your immune cells and then removed from the system. And so they're basically going to be removed from the body and secreted. Because the antibodies have bound to them and they're kind of now labeled as trash or foreign objects that need to be removed. So inflammation and an immune response to nanobots is bad. You don't want that. Now, there are ways where, if we're going to talk about the DNA nanobots, where you can modify the DNA in such a way where it is no longer recognized by the different immune receptors, because there are certain like parts of the DNA structure that are like specifically recognized by receptors on your immune cells. But you can add modifications that are like synthetic modifications to the DNA to it's kind of like a disguise. And actually, that's how the COVID mRNA virus was basically. So mRNA or RNA, when it's put into the body, it's normally degraded, or it can trigger an immune response. But if you add specific modifications to it, then that kind of disguises it from your immune system. And so they had to add those modifications to the RNA so that your immune system, like your toll-like receptors, for example, which are these really fun little like hook-shaped receptors, wouldn't like get triggered by the RNA floating around and like set off a chain of events that would then result in the RNA being degraded. I don't want to melt into gray ooze. You won't melt into gray ooze. I think we're very far away off from putting things like Xenobots into the human body. I think they're really cool. Like, if you look at them, like, let's see. It's cool. It's interesting. But I don't think we're close to putting them into humans. There needs to be at least 2 decades maybe 1 decade of animal testing. And we also have to figure out what these things can actually do that's useful. It's so fun to watch them make bagels out of cells. Ugh, so fun. So cute. Oh yeah, so I forgot to mention this, but these cells, they actually grow little cilia, which are these like little like kind of like hairs on the cells, and they like paddle through the water and it makes them move. Most of your cells don't have cilia, but you have like epithelial cells that have cilia on them. And actually, like the cells that are lining your gut, they have like these cilia-like things that kind of help push like different like microbes and things away from it kind of keeps things moving. But they can also be used for motility. And so here they don't say how, but they got this cilia growing on their little frog embryo cells, which is fun. Maybe Xenobots will be used to produce future cat girls in Japan. I still haven't looked into that. I think that's so strange. There's a lot of very interesting kind of weird science in the world. I think there was a paper, I think I put it in the Discord once, where this guy like he claimed he was an Italian researcher, and he claimed he could do the first real head transplant, where he basically took a head from an animal and put it onto another animal, and it supposedly was preserved all of like the different nerve endings and whatnot. Now, one gigantic caveat of his study, and why a lot of other scientists thought he was full of bullshit, was the animal was actually dead. It did not survive, because it is just we're probably decades away from ever having the technology to be able to perform the type of surgery and transplant that you would need to like take, you know, nerve endings from one animal and put them onto like another. It's very difficult. So there are some weird things like that where people claim they can do like crazy stuff, but actually there's a lot of problems with what they're doing. And so it's always good to just be skeptical, you know. Not to mention the immune system's pure hatred for foreign things on it. I mean, it's to keep your body safe. But when it comes to like graft rejection, that like when you're transplanting a whole freaking head onto another body, there will be a lot of tissue rejection and inflammation that happens and a lot of cell death. And you'd have to go on steroids to like dampen the immune response, and that's not great because then you're more susceptible to infections and blah blah blah. Okay, so we could keep chatting about that forever, but I do have to end the stream because it is a night when I need to wake up early tomorrow. But I've had a lot of fun chatting with you guys, drinking lots of coffee. Now I'm going to go to sleep magically. Caffeine does absolutely nothing to me except keep me alive. So I'm going to go sleep with my 2 double shots in me. But the next stream, so I believe I might be absent Saturday night. So my next stream will probably be Sunday night, but I will keep you updated on whether or not it's Saturday or Sunday. And I will try to publish another fun little schedule in the Discord so that I keep myself accountable for my streams. And we're going to find someone to raid. Let's see who is up right now. Who do we want? What do we want to look at right now? Shall we go raid? Let's raid Bobe. So Bobe is part of Team RD, and she is playing RuneScape right now. She's a huge Star Wars fan, so if you like Star Wars-y things, you can talk to Bobe about that. And yeah. Man, RuneScape. That's an oldie but goldie. Good night, Ip. Thanks for hanging out. It's so wonderful to see you guys here. And Cloven, good night. Styles, have a wonderful night. J-Ski, have a great morning? Night? I don't know. Blessing, have a good morning or night or whatever. And everyone else, thank you for hanging out in this stream thus far and watching me make coffee and go on weird tangents. It was fun. But yeah, we're gonna just go over for when we go do the raid, spam little espresso things, whatever little emotes you want in there, and say hi to Bobe. She's a sweetheart. And I will see you guys Saturday or Sunday. Have a good rest of your week.